is it going to be? This is that one more. Oh my God. My brain's going to explode. My brain's going to explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in to the Slightly Biased Show here at the incredible Haymaker Studios. Haymaker Network. If you're not subscribed to Haymaker Network, link down in the description. Make sure you do so. If you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure you do so. It helps out tremendously, even if you're watching after the fact. And if you're listening on audio platforms, leave a 5-star review, huh? Leave a 5-star review. I'm in an OJ Mayo jersey for the remainder of the month, obviously. Like, there was I said on my channel, I tweeted out that if Cooper Flagg averaged, I forgot what the exact numbers were, 19.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.5 assists, I'd wear his jersey for a month. Well, he did exactly that and won Rookie of the Year. So congratulations! Congratulations to Cooper Flagg. Congratulations to myself as well for now having to wear this jersey. We'll talk more about the Rookie of the Year race, of course, some of the fallout from it. Carmelo Anthony had a lot of things to say. That was interesting, to put it lightly. But first, got to do some plugging, obviously. You got to run off on the plug. Hey, have you seen House of Haymaker yet? It's Haymaker's newest show that is every weekday at noon on the Haymaker Network. It features the whole cast of Haymaker, myself included, talking Dallas sports, all sports, sports adjacent, and maybe we don't even do sports. Who knows? Maybe we might dive into politics, the intersectionality of race and sports. I mean, who knows where we're going with this? It's whatever we want to talk about. Ben Rogers, Skin, KT, Jeff Kavanaugh, Nick Harris, KT, Jared Sandler, and of course, me, Slightly Biased. Check out this from today's episode, guys.
But in the first verse, it says, I'm in the mood to F something up.
Okay.
I need drink in my cup. I'm in the mood.
Less or more incriminating?
Second one
That's
is
a great question.
Big Energy by Latto. That song is about, you've heard the term BDE.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, that's what that song's about.
All right, there you go. Diana Rossini, what's her name? Diana Rossini? Is that her name?
You got it.
Man, it shows how plugged in I am on this one. That's just the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? That's just the gift that keeps on giving. Slightly worn OJ Mayo jersey and mayonnaise. Yeah, that's true. I got this jersey, OJ Mayo jersey, obviously, in a mayonnaise eating competition. So yeah, that's a great point, Chatter. Thank you. Now, of course, we can celebrate Cooper Flagg winning Rookie of the Year with a shirt. How about this? In this house, we stand for the flag. 10 hot. In this house, we stand for the flag. Get this now, fullydelusional.shop. That is fullydelusional.shop. Slightly Biased, Fully Delusional. Link down in the description. Go there. We got a lot to talk about. Shameless slightly plug. Now, this one's not shameless at all. This one, no, actually, yeah, it is shameless. You're right. But there's nothing to even feel shame about. So anyways, we're going to get into some stuff, talk about Rookie of the Year. I swam today for the first time at the gym. First time ever swimming in my life, actually. Did great. First time swimming in, there is European shipping. It's just going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's not up to me. First time swimming with the jersey on, absolutely. Finally got it dried out as a workout. It's funny because I built myself a like little beginner swimming for cardio, little workout plan. And I had it, and through research and TikTok, trying to figure out what the best. And I had it, and I was just like, I don't know, man. This seems like it might be a little too easy for me, right? It was 2 warm-up laps. What's it called when you go down once? Is something. I don't think it's called a lap. I think it's called something else. But you go down once. It was just a quick little warm-up down and back, and then down and back twice, down and back twice, and then a cool-off down and back. I was like, there's no way this even works for me. You guys make fun of me, but I'm in decent shape. Like that's going to be a little too easy. It was not easy at all. Swimming is pretty difficult. And it's a pretty good workout. So I'm pumped to see where this swimming era takes me, huh? As we get closer and closer to me being in Mexico. I'm going to Cancun here in a couple of weeks to hang out with Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see where that takes us. Our guy Cooper Flagg, obviously, Rookie of the Year. this was something that I didn't think I cared about nearly as much as I ended up caring about, if that makes sense. I was okay with him not winning the award. I said if Khan ended up winning it, that I wouldn't have stormed the league office or anything like that. But don't get me wrong, I am very happy that he won it. And it got to a point where it was like, you know what, man, fuck it. Like, this season's been so terrible that, so I got to get something out of this. And Cooper Flagg winning Rookie of the Year was that. Puts him in great company. Some, Rookie of the Year winners, youngest player in the NBA. To me, it was the right choice. Now, of course, this has sparked a lot of controversy and debate. There's been a lot of talk, and I get it. Charlotte fans, they wanted their guy to win, so I'm not going to poo-poo anything that Charlotte Hornets fans are saying. Of course, you want your guy to win. That goes with that being said. You're upset your guy didn't win. All is fine. I do think it's kind of funny that it reached this point where I'm interested. The voting was close enough. Cooper Flagg ended up with, I believe it was 56 votes? First place votes, and Con Knipple had 44, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's 54 and 46.
I thought I saw 55. I'll check.
55? Okay. Well, either way, it ended up being a really close voting margin. Hilariously enough, somebody gave Con Knipple a third place vote. I'd really be interested to hear the logic behind that one. VJ had a great rookie year. Dylan Harper had a great rookie year. But it would really be interested to hear that. But I wonder what flipped it. Because Bontemps did his award poll, his award ladder, whatever the fuck it's called. And Con Knipple is at 80%, right? He had 80 votes out of 100. Just seemed like that race was over. Huge betting favorite to win it. I don't know what do you think it was? Was it the 50-point game that swung it? Or was it Con kind of flaming out there at the end, and the Hornets was like, oh, the Hornets are going to be this playoff team. We got to get the Rookie of the Year. He's had a big impact on a team that's making the playoffs, right? Like, that's a huge deal. And then, it turns out that they're actually the 9th seed in the East and didn't make the playoffs, and Con Knipple was dreadful down the stretch of the season. To be expected from a rookie, by the way. I'm not shitting on him. Dreadful down the stretch of the season, down the final couple weeks, and then in the play-in game, which unfortunately is going to matter against them because voters didn't need to turn in their ballots just yet. It was 56 for Cooper Flagg and 44 for Con Knipple. And again, a third-place vote for Con and a second-place vote for VJ. Interesting.
Don't forget the gift box that Tim McMahon got. I mean, that could sway it.
They sent out gift boxes. Mine must have got lost in the mail. So that's fine. I'll hit up USPS or FedEx, whoever it ended up being, and see maybe my apartment. It's in the leasing office. Sometimes that happens with these packages. So just a misunderstanding there. But yeah, I mean, I want to be a voter just so I get all these swag boxes. All of these teams send out swag boxes. But anyways, there's been a lot of sort of ranting and raving. The thing about Rookie of the Year, and I kept saying this, is it's like Rookie of the Year has never been a spreadsheet award ever. Like MVP is. And it's only like recently that we've had access to these stats and stuff like that. But like EPM and all of these aren't like decade-old statistics. But Rookie of the Year has never been a spreadsheet one. MVP, it kind of, because you're comparing the best players versus the best players. Defensive Player of the Year, we're comparing defenders versus defenders. Rookie of the Year, there's so much different context involved with all of these guys. So, yeah, I mean, when Cooper Flagg was at his best, and there were some low moments. There were some low moments, right? When Cooper Flagg was at his best, it was better than anyone else in the rookie class. That's just the reality, right? That's just the truth. And I think that's what wins the award. It's the Aura and Hype Award. And it's always been the case. It's always been the case that it's the Aura and Hype Award. It will always be the Aura and Hype Award. Now, I want to say this because there's a chance that, the Mavericks are going to get a top 10 pick in this year's draft, maybe even higher than that. So hopefully they're going to be in the mix again next year for a Rookie of the Year finalist. If it ends up that Rookie of the Year finalist leads all rookies in EPM, leads all rookies in efficiency, whatever the case may be, you best believe that's going to be my talking point next year. This is just how it goes. However, that's not the way it goes this year. And I'm sorry, Hornets fans. What do you want me to do? I need something. I absolutely need something. But there's been a lot of like, oh, Cooper Flagg, I'm reading this tweet right now, and I don't even know who this person is. I think it's just this is just a random Charlotte Hornets fan. So I'm not going to put it on the screen. But this is the common sort of talking point. Cooper Flagg was rewarded for usage, not impact. There's nothing impactful about being the engine for a team that couldn't even crack 27 wins. I mean, Con Knippel was the third option on a team that didn't even make the playoffs. Like, what are we talking about? I don't understand this at all. Here was actually an interesting quote from
starting to see that.
Carmelo Anthony.
Shout out to Nico Harrison, man. It's for.
Here's the thing, right? Moving forward, I know Carmelo Anthony's a Nike guy, so there's some ties there, right? I get that. If you're talking anything basketball related, maybe personal life is completely different. Basketball related, and it starts with shout out Nico Harrison. Stop it, unless you're a Lakers fan. Only Lakers fans can start a sentence with shout out to Nico Harrison. Nobody else is allowed to do that.
For seeing this right here, for understanding this vision, whatever happened, how it happened, Dallas got something back. You know, in that. They got the number one pick. They got a rookie who led the squad in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Like you said, MJ is the only person to ever do that. So you start talking about Cooper ceiling and a young face of this league in this NBA, it's Cooper Flagg. So congratulations.
How is this still going on? How are people still putting Cooper Flagg in the Nico vision? I don't understand that. Unless it was a rigged lottery. And we can like say that with certainty. I don't really understand that. But
that set House of Haymaker off again today.
Okay. That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, listen, if the trade was Luka Doncic for the number one overall pick and that ended up being Cooper Flagg, all right, that's a completely different conversation. But yeah, I mean, how is this still something that's being said? Again, if you're starting a sentence with shout out Nico Harrison, timeout. Stop that sentence. Stop it right now. We don't need to go on a second further, okay? Still can't believe Carmelo has a successful podcast. I honestly didn't know Carmelo Anthony had a podcast. Good for him though. I mean, he does pretty good on the NBC show. I think he's done pretty fine. But this also kind of reads, and these still kind of sort of backhanded, and some of these guys, again, Carmelo Anthony, a Nike guy in the 2010s, like he's obviously has probably a close relationship with Nico Harrison, but some of this I think is still sort of backhanded Luka slander, where it's like, see, Nico knew what he was doing, and I think there's some Luka slander sort of mixed in there, right? Now I will say this for like the arguments in favor of Coop that I saw where, you know, a lot of Mavs fans were like, yeah, well, he's the number one option on this offense. He's a leader of the offense. This is why he should win Rookie of the Year. It's like, you're not wrong, okay? The team's fucking horrible. And their offense was one of the worst I've ever seen. So again, let the arguments for Coop be hype aura, right? Because he had all of that. He had hype aura. His ceilings, his high points were higher than any rookie we've seen this year by a mile. So let that do the talking. How often you see teenagers come in and do this? In fact, once, LeBron James, that's it. So that was it. Not like Cooper Flagg had to lead the offense. We don't need to do that because then immediately the conversation is, oh, well, their offense was good then, right? No, it was horrible. Not his fault. The team's terrible. No one has any clue what they're doing in the front office. I could change that pretty quickly. Nobody has any clue what they're doing in the front office. Do we shoot threes? No. Do we make threes? God, no. Do we rebound the basketball? No, we don't do that either. What do you do offensively? You see, that was what the problem was this year. That was what the problem was. I will say this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Staying on the topic of Cooper Flagg, we stand for the Flagg shirt, link down in the description, fullydelusional.shop. I did see this go around. The prank clips from Anthony Davis's new prank show were going around. Cooper Flagg was involved with it. Now, you know, of course, the easy joke that I made was, now it's not that you would have worn a white shirt under the jersey. You look like Nikola Jokic with the arms. Nikola Jokic got this. I didn't think so. The thing about the Cooper Flagg prank being on 80's prank show, the obvious joke is, what was the prank the entire year? Cooper. It was all a prank. What was the whole season? It was a prank. That's what I would have done. Some damage control. It was a prank, Coop. This is not what the NBA is going to be like for you, man. Trust me. We're not this dysfunctional. He's like, oh, thank God.
What's that?
Water droplets?
Water droplets, right? But the water droplets can mean something else, right? Still feeling safe, but we're just being honest, right? And if you send these things in this order, that might mean you want to put something somewhere and then make something happen. So we just need to be very aware of what we're doing. Do you understand?
I'm sure.
It's a judgment-free zone. You know, I've sent this. I send this all the time. And usually I have at least 5 of the water droplets, but that's just me.
Why is this show, from the clips I've seen, I haven't watched an episode. Why is this show pretty funny, actually?
That's what I'm saying. It's this is what clip 3 in a row. We're like, this is funny.
Yeah, this one, the couple therapy argument, and then the Draymond Green one, genuinely pretty funny, pretty good. I thought this show would be a disaster, but this is Anthony Davis's prank show on TBS, I guess.
No one knows.
Yeah, I mean, how did this get greenlit? I have no idea. But anyways, it's there. Again, maybe this was all a big elaborate prank on all of us. That would be a great way to promote your show.
That's why he was out so long. He's been working on these bits.
This had to be before the season, obviously.
I mean, not to hate on the man, but you can really curate some comedy bits if you got some downtime, like say some injury.
That's true.
Time.
There wasn't a lot of time on the court, so he did have some time, but it was funny. And there was part of me whenever I was watching this, like, it kind of would have been cool if the Anthony Davis thing worked out, just to have him on the team. Barely even a full year on the team. I mean, what a crazy. It's going to be insane looking back on in like 10 years, this whole situation, obviously. But then, like, remember AD was on the team for like 40 games?
I want that prized AD jersey. That's what you should be wearing.
Yeah, I should. Anthony Davis is 12 games with the Dallas Mavericks. So anyway, shout out to Cooper Flagg. We wanted him to win it. He did win it. We're pumped. We're happy. We're excited. Great stuff there. How about this? Great stuff here. This is what the playoffs are all about, folks. NBA playoffs in full force. How about this right here? A Detroit Pistons fan waterboarding themselves. Not against his will or anything like that, but just because he's a Pistons fan, waterboarding himself in a shower. This is what the playoffs are all about, guys. This is why you get invested. This is why you root for a team. This is why you experience the highs and lows. That way, when your team goes down 3-1 in the first round, you literally torture yourself in the shower. This is what being a sports fan is. And you won't understand it unless you are a sports fan. Try explaining this to somebody. They wouldn't get it if they weren't a sports fan. So, what, you didn't waterboard yourself? So you waterboarded yourself. So you were actually arrested and held prisoner and were waterboarded? No. But you said you've been waterboarded before. Yeah, I waterboarded myself out of torture. Oh, like a training in case you got taken prisoner? No, I just did it because I was a Pistons fan. And I felt like that was maybe my punishment for choosing that route. Oh. Okay. Anyways, I'm done talking with you. This is beast mode, man. This last little frame here. Waterboarding himself in a shower. This is what it's all about, man. Come on. This is why you're a sports guy. This is why you watch sports. Playoffs have been great. We got a couple of big games tonight. I'm thinking we see the end of 2 series tonight. Franz is in. Oh, this is actually important. A Shams update just hit the timeline about Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner diagnosed with a right calf strain. And his availability for Game 5 is up in the air. Not good. So Franz, when did Franz check out of the game? Third quarter, I think. Didn't go back in at any point. Franz has been really good in this series, and I thought he was great yesterday. I thought he had some great moments closing out the game in Game 3, nearly closing out the game in Game 2. I think Franz has been good, and we know he's got role player-itis, but man, when he just like gets into a groove where he's just driving and putting pressure on the rim, he's a star-level player, 100%. This is huge. I still, in my heart, feel like this series might go 7. I don't really know, though. The Pistons have done nothing to really instill any confidence in them. But I just feel as though they'll win Game 5 at home, Game 6 with an underdog team. Not to do the Bill Simmons thing. Well, the Pistons are going to have a game where they make 14, 15, 13, 16, 18 threes. Right? But I'm not entirely sure. But this is big. If Franz has to miss time in this series, yeah, that will 100% swing it. And even if he does play with a calf strain, obviously that's really risky. We've seen where that can end up. But even if he plays limited, that's huge. That's a big one, man. We have 3 games tonight, and I do think the season will come to an end for several of these teams. Sixers, Celtics, I see.
Is he still a desirable?
No, he's not desirable. Never play yourself again on First Take. Ever again, automatically on my page. Thank you. Sixers, Celtics, I think, is coming to a conclusion tonight. Now, it's kind of interesting because Game 4, return of Joel Embiid, I didn't think the Sixers played terribly. The Celtics were just the juggernaut in that game. The Sixers just do not have the perimeter defenders to stop a dribble drive at all, to contain any drivers. So the Celtics are just spraying out to open three-point shooters. We know that's their game. And when they don't miss, like in Game 4, you stand 0 chance whatsoever. And, we were saying it during the game, watching, it's like, wow, the Sixers third quarter, they can't miss anything. They're making all of their shots. They're making all their tough middies. Embiid got going a little bit there. Maxey got going. They scored 36 points in the quarter, and they lost the quarter. I don't know. There's just the Celtics look like an absolute juggernaut. And then we have Hawks-Knicks, Game 5. That's going to be great. Did the Knicks figure something out in Game 4? We're going to see them play through Cat a little bit more, since he does have a pretty advantageous matchup in this series. We'll see tonight. Who knows? Trailblazers, Spurs. That series is coming to a conclusion tonight as well, would be my predictions. We were talking about this on the stream last night. How many of these series do we think could be going 7? Hawks-Knicks has a chance. Nuggets, Timberwolves, I'm almost certain is going to go 7 games with the Nuggets winning. With the Timberwolves group, just they have to play perfect. My gut's telling me Magic Pistons go 7. Again, the Pistons have done nothing to make you think that, though. Raptors, Cavs, I think might go 7. I think it's possible we get like 7 game series here in the first round. Because I'll be real with you guys, man. I sort of feel like Rockets, Lakers might be going 7. Which you guys aren't going to like hearing. There's no real reason to think that. But the Rockets did shit all over themselves in Game 3. They should have won that game. It was literally historic that they lost that game the way that they did. Only the second time out of like 1,800 total games that a team has lost up 6 with the ball with 30 seconds left in a playoff game. And they took care of business in Game 4. I think, I don't know. My gut's telling me. My gut's just telling me that series might be going 7. So that's exciting. That's exciting that we could have some of these games. Talk about the Stars. Yeah, so the Stars play tonight, game number 5. Huge game against the Minnesota Wild, obviously. Dallas's favorites at home. Yeah, I just think it's going to be really interesting for Dallas. I'm hopeful that they, take care of business around the blue line. That's kind of the thing with the Stars right now. I feel as though they're not physical enough around the blue line. So, especially against this Minnesota team, if you're going to be soft around the blue line, you stand no chance. And this physicality, and the Stars haven't capitalized on a lot of opportunities. In some ways, this series should be over. It should be a 4-0 sweep, but also it could be a 4-0 sweep the other way. So the reality is if you win Game 5 in a best-of-7 hockey series, you only have to win one more game to win the series. If you lose Game 5 in a tied series, in a hockey series, you have to win the next 2. That's just the reality. So that's why tonight is such an important game for the Stars, because if they lose it, then they can only lose one more. If they win it, they only need to win one more. And that's just sort of my takeaway, right?
Which defensive pairing do you think is your favorite to solidify that blue line?
That's a great question. And That's a great question. And just racking my brain, I'd have to go with Oscar Back and Matt Duchene. That would be my pick. I mean, that would be my two guys.
Okay, writing that down.
Yeah, write that down moving forward. Well, I'm just now seeing those guys are listed on ESPN as centers, which, again, hockey's so positionless now. But if I were to look at the defensemen, which ESPN has listed, so you take it with a grain of salt, right? Yeah, Thomas Harley and Miro Haskinen, for sure, would be mine. Because here's the thing, right?
Or anything.
Here's the thing. Haskinen's from Finland. And when
Heiskanen is, for sure.
Haskinen, I've heard the Finnish pronunciation. So for him, I like the fact that he's from Finland in this series. I think it gives him an edge. He's used to it being cold. And here's the thing, though. Ilya Lyubushkin, he's from Moscow. In a series like this, I want a Russian out there. That's the way that I approach hockey. I want a Russian. I want people from the former Soviet bloc as well on the ice because I feel like that gives me an edge.
It absolutely does. They've been through it.
See, I'm looking at, Tyler Myers is from Houston, Texas. Get off the fucking ice. Sorry. You're unplayable. Are you kidding me? Houston, Texas. Sorry. You cannot play in the remainder of the series. And you guys can tell me that he's good. That's fine. But there's no way, in good faith, a guy from Houston, Texas is on the ice in the final closing minutes of a Game 6, a Game 5. I need people from Russia. I need people from, again, I need people from the Soviet bloc.
Are you going?
Should I?
Who's going? Yeah, you should go. Sleeveless, just like that.
Yeah, maybe I should go. Maybe I should. I'm too locked in. I'm too locked in. My reality is I would rather watch. I would rather watch, Knicks Hawks than the Stars game. I'm sorry, but I can't control. I can't control that. I wish it weren't true. But it is. I would rather watch Game 5 of the Hawks Knicks series. Now, if I got free tickets, I'm there. Not buying tickets. Let's just get serious. Anyways, I'm having a good time with this postseason, man. What do you guys think about the Nuggets Timberwolves? It does feel like the Nuggets are just going to steamroll the rest of the series. I'm actually interested what the betting odds for that series are. Don't usually like doing gambling stuff, but just to see if I'm willing to bet the Nuggets are favorites now in it, which is interesting. Let's see. Houston Lakers. The Lakers are still ginormous favorites, which should be the case. Yep, the Nuggets are now favorites to win the series. Which, makes sense. I mean, it's 3-2. If they win my thoughts on that is Game 6 in Minnesota is going to be like the Game 7 of that series. I just cannot see, with no Ant, no DiVincenzo, I cannot see the Timberwolves winning Game 7 in Denver. Just cannot see it. So it's Game 6 is going to feel like the Game 7 of this series. It's going to be a lot of fun. Portland, San Antonio, this series is over. Well, I wonder, the Magic have to be favorites, right? I'm assuming the Knicks are pretty comfortable. We don't have a gambling sponsor yet, do we?
We do not.
Okay. I'd have to imagine that Knicks, the Knicks are pretty comfortable favorites over the Hawks. That series could still go a couple different ways. I have to assume Cleveland-Toronto. Cleveland is going to be kind of a sizable favorite, but if that's the case, I'm just not sure about that one. Wow, Cleveland is minus 450. Wow.
Magic favorite as well.
What's the logic behind this being this? I mean, just from watching these last two games, I don't think that this series is that far apart. I picked the Cavs, don't get me wrong, but if I were a gambling man, which I'm not, and I will never tell you guys to do, unless I get paid a lot of money to do it. That's the nice thing about me. Just know that if I'm telling you guys to gamble, I'm getting paid a lot of money. So that should be nice. That should be nice. But man, if I'd sprinkle some money on the Raptors, why wouldn't I? Is Evan Mobley going to learn how to be a man in the next 24 hours? Jared Allen in the next 24 hours? Is James Harden going to forget the man he is in the next 24 hours? I really doubt it. Boston, obviously, huge favorite. Orlando, pretty sizable favorite. As they should. They're up 3-1 with another home game left. So, Hawks will win tonight. Cat is 1-7 in Game 5s in his career. I toss that all in the trash. Who cares? Those numbers mean nothing to me. This player is This player, they're 1 in 5. Yeah, I don't think that means much of anything. Kyle Anderson got something to say about that. Well, the funny thing is did something ever happen from Kyle Anderson's that game turned kind of. I know the Timberwolves made a spirited comeback there at the end, but Kyle Anderson played pretty well in that game. But he kind of came up lame. Was he hurt, or was that just a little boo boo? No one can pay me enough to shill for what made my favorite sports worse. Money is not my god. I mean, what's the number? Well, there is a number. I'm just being real. There's always a number.
What is your god?
God's a woman.
True.
Ariana Grande, a new album coming out soon, by the way. She's the one who told us God is a woman.
Needed that for sure.
Speaking of God, Frank Iasola thinks he's a god of some sort. That's just my takeaway from yesterday. This big Twitter drama. We're not going to listen to this full 3-minute diatribe here, but this big Twitter drama that started. Frank Iasola. Is it Frank Iasola or Tom? I always forget.
Frank Iasola.
Frank Iasola. And our guy, Brian Scalabrine, who I have a close personal relationship with. I talked to him a couple of sentences when I was at the Celtics-Mavs game, and he was in front of me. So I have a close personal relationship with him, and none of this is on him. None of this is on him. So Kenny Beecham, I guess, is getting a Sirius XM show every Monday at noon. Congratulations to friend of the channel, Kenny Beecham. Congratulations to him. That's fantastic stuff. Really cool. Really cool to see when, YouTubers and content creators like that infiltrate the more traditional forms of media, because it's not a real pathway, right? It's not like it's actually actively, in a lot of instances, frowned upon to bring these people on. And I kind of get it. And here's the thing. I'm saying this as a YouTuber, content creator myself. Like, I kind of get it, because there's a really bad track record with some of these guys. Content creator. Oh, this guy's great. We're gonna give him a huge brand deal sponsorship. What's that? He likes children. It's happened quite a bit. And so I get why brands can be very hesitant with this stuff. But I think that's kind of going away. I think, more and more established people are becoming content creators. There's less of like a weird stigma now. And you're going to start to see this more and more. And let me tell you, the old heads are not happy about it.
The first place to talk hoops is on the starting lineup with Frank Iasola and Brian Scalabrine.
All right, the Kenny Beecham Hour with Kenny Beecham, aptly named. God forbid we name it the Frank Iasola, Brian Scalabrine Show, but we've only been doing the show here for about how many years now, Brian? 15. When you walk in first day.
I want to say this real quick. We can't update the picture here for the show. Frank Iasola looks nothing like this. Maybe 25 years ago.
That's got to be a PTI shot from 2008 when he filmed it.
Yeah, and God bless him.
Or not PTI, around the horn.
And God bless him. He's still a handsome man. But, I mean, we can't update this. Even this Brian Scalabrine shot.
I mean, might as well put in a playing headshot of Scalabrine.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, they're going to name a show after you. Debuting today at noon Eastern on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the Sirius XM app. And whoever did the read, and Warren wanted me to read this, Brian, he wanted me to write that Mondays just got better, which means our show, they'll be taking an hour off our show, and Warren wants me to write that Mondays just got better.
Hilariously funny ad read. By the way.
Do you think he's agitated at all there?
Yeah. I mean, whoever gave him that read is a either kind of an idiot or a comedic genius. Giving somebody an ad read for their show and say, hey guys, your Monday just got a whole lot better because our show is an hour shorter.
Dude, it had to be a marketing group, someone he's never met, that's not even in that station, that just wrote some copy.
Oh, man, that is the most hilarious thing. Our show's getting cut. Guess what? Your day just got a whole lot better. Oh, I mean, this whole thing is so funny and stupid, but that was the funniest part to me. The fact that was the ad read. Oh, man.
Now an hour of our show will be cut.
Can I just tell you one thing? Right now, you need to calm down.
And again, this is why I have a close personal relationship with Brian Scalabrine. He does get it. He understands it. He's a little bit more plugged in. Okay. Scalabrine is kind of like an online internet hero himself. Okay. He's not like, he's not an all-time NBA legend. Obviously, he was in the NBA. So, fantastic basketball player. What's the famous Scal quote? I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me. It's true. Maybe he's never seen me play before, but for most people, that's true. Now, the thing is like, Scalabrine's a little bit more plugged in. And this is also, I don't know these guys' relationship. I've never once in my life heard this show. I kind of know who Frank Ayatollah is, but I'm not entirely sure. Did I say Ayatollah? My bad. I meant Ayatollah. Sorry. Now, the thing, I don't know their relationship, right? I'd be a little bit pissed if I were Scal. If somebody dragged me into this shit, my co-host.
Just trust me on this one. Just calm down. All right?
I mean, give me a break. Like, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Are we gonna add jock radio style sound bites to the show?
You want drops?
Yeah.
We'll get some drops. I gave you a couple drops out there.
But I want them to be like talk radio. Ben and Skin utilize drops quite a bit.
No, not really, but sometimes. I mean, I think I have a drop of Skin saying I'm peeing right now, which I like.
That's good. I like that one.
Good question. Nationally,
I gave you your warning.
Nationally, who's got a bigger name? Brian Scalabrine or Kevin Beecham? Kenny Beecham.
Kenny Beecham.
Who's got a bigger name, me or him?
Kenny Beecham.
Bull.
So much to unpack from that little bit. So much to unpack there. Well, the self-awareness from Scalabrine, fantastic, right? But our guy Frank, is he under the impression that he is a bigger national name than Brian Scalabrine? Because you asked Brian Scalabrine, who's a bigger name, you or Kenny Beecham. Scalabrine says Kenny Beecham. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. For like me, my age, being on the internet, I'd say, yeah, that is pretty true. But also like, I'd say most people who know Kenny know who Brian Scalabrine is, naturally, right? But then the way that the follow-up question was, all right, who's bigger then, me or him? Is he under the impression that he is a bigger name than Brian Scalabrine? Frank Ayatollah? Oh, it's Ayatollah, my bad. I did that again. I just read Ayatollah in the chat because someone said that for some reason. What is he under the impression?
I mean, clearly the wrong impression.
Yeah, I was about to say. Man, I mean, all right.
And for the brain to just be like, I mean, him.
Yeah, like, yep. Not you, man. I'm going to be real with you.
Frank.
He does PTI?
He does PTI. Wow. So here's the, and they just rambled on. This video goes for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It's just the same thing for the remainder of the video. Here's the problem. Right? Like, these guys, and this is why I appreciate Ben and Skin so much. Because they're I'd have to imagine around the same age, right? I don't know how old Frank Isola is, but I'd have to imagine they're around the same age. They at the very least are very interested in learning more about the new media landscape with YouTube, with content creation, all of this. But then you have the old heads like this, Frank, who cannot come to grips with the fact that, yes, a YouTuber is more nationally known and prominent than a radio talk host. This is just the reality. Okay? That's just the reality. And then also, here's the thing, right? Yeah, man, he's bigger than you. You want to know how you want to know, you don't even need to ask anybody. You want to know how you know? Because SiriusXM's cutting your show an hour short for him. That you don't need any more information than that, right? Like, they're literally cutting your show short to be replaced with the Kenny Beecham show.
Yeah, there's no new media that's involved with that decision making. That's old as time media
Yes.
there. They took an hour away from you because you weren't cutting it, and they're trying to get more listens.
So I'm actually interested by this because, admittedly, even me, and you guys make fun of me for my age, I was, grew up listening to the radio, of course, a little bit, like, 103.3 ESPN, 105.3, 1310, all of that was still kind of, but now, is the radio still like Sirius XM radio? Does that do well? I don't get how at this time Sirius XM is still kind of around. why would you pay a Sirius XM? And I don't want to step on any toes here. I don't know. I'm just curious. What would be the point of having a Sirius XM subscription? Isn't it like $100 a year?
It's really cheap.
Oh, it is?
If you're, I think it's probably less than $100 a year, not to do an ad for Sirius XM, but I think they rely on a lot of, I forgot to cancel that, and they make it so cheap that it's not noticeable, and it's in cars, which makes your listener-based potential massive because it's national, to sell to ads anyways, not to get into too much media talk. But
so is it, because I can't imagine being like 35 and younger and not just getting in your car and turning on your phone.
Yeah, I don't do it. I actually purchased a new car recently, big flex there, but it had Sirius XM in it, and I gave it a scroll for a little bit. It's okay music stations on there, but that canceled like 2 weeks ago, and I have not looked back.
I'm saying this. My grandparents use Sirius XM to listen to 50s on 5. I think they changed the station. It used to be 50s on 5. I think it's a new station now.
No, I think you're right, because I think it's all that 1 through 10 is the same. Again, I guess we're spokespeople for Sirius XM now.
Yeah, guys, go out. You know what? Frank Iasola is correct. Actually, he I cannot believe that they're letting a YouTuber infiltrate this space. This is a sacred space, and we cannot let YouTubers muddy the waters at all. We just can't let it. These guys, it is. I think it's kind of harsh because the media landscape is changing so dramatically, and everyone accepts that. A lot of these guys don't seem to understand this, and I've made this point before. The strength that comes with building something on YouTube and people are following you for you is so much different than, hey, I was on PTI a couple times, right? That's great. People watch PTI because it's on the TV, And if PTI, for whatever reason, was no longer on ESPN and they moved it to like YouTube, it would do way less numbers. People are just have it on the screen. So people are watching the time slot. They're not necessarily watching you, really.
And it was Kornheiser and Wilbon. It wasn't, no one ever referenced Isola.
Yeah. Wilbon and Kornheiser are different. If they were to go off and do their separate ventures, they've built a solid following and community, obviously. I'm not saying that these people don't. But I think people it's interesting because you'll see former beat reporters for teams on Twitter, and I see this every now and then. And I'll look at they'll have like 250,000 followers. I'm like, Jesus Christ! But yet they get no interactions on their tweet at all. Like no interactions ever. But it's because people followed them long ago because they reported on a team. There was only a handful of places you could go to get that, and then once they move on or once other options get there. I don't need to go to you anymore. I only went to you for news specifically, and I don't really, I don't really care outside of that. That's just, it's hard to like, I don't want to get too inside baseball here, but I've heard some conversations before about like contract demands for some of these guys. It is like jaw dropping and honestly so delusional that it's so respectable and kind of made me rethink things. Who has faker numbers, NFL or Sirius? Definitely NFL for sure. Definitely NFL. I don't know what Sirius's numbers are.
I was going to say that he brings up a good question, and I know, but the NFL buoys Sirius XM because you can listen to any game you want if you're not able to watch it on TV.
True, and NFL and Sirius are similar. Here's the thing: NBA fans are diehards. One, longer season, 82 games. If you're watching, you're watching. Two. There's 6 different places to watch these games. It's not just like, turn on channel 8. I know every day at this time, every week at this time, there's going to be this on channel 4, this on channel. Who knows? Nobody knows. Do you know where the NBA games are taking place tonight? I have no clue. I will find out 5 minutes before the game starts and begrudgingly open up the browser for whatever streaming platform I now have to open up. Let me see, actually.
I just wrote a sketch for the NBA Hunter.
Okay, that's good. Oh, ESPN. Oh, good. And I love nights like this where 2 games are on ESPN and one's on Peacock. I love that. And the Amazon Prime one, good luck. I have to tell you guys this. My grandparents, I'm very close with them. The amount of it almost was like I was training them to become Navy SEALs, the amount of effort it took to finally get them to be able to pull up Amazon Prime to watch Thursday Night Football without needing to call me or without needing to come over to diagnose and troubleshoot something. It took months for them to finally be like, yeah, and then you press that button, and then this button, and then don't press, please God, do not press another button. You will not, and then Jesus, whenever they did the Netflix games, NFL Netflix games, that was a whole other debacle. A whole other debacle. I do wonder how much, like, we're losing. I wonder what the Amazon games are doing. Do people realize they can just watch that with an Amazon Prime? How many people do you think there are that are like, I can't watch, I don't have Amazon. Like, they think Amazon Prime, whatever they call the streaming service. I guess they do call it Amazon Prime, don't they?
Prime, I believe.
Yeah. Do you think people, like, do not think they have that without knowing that if you just have Amazon Prime, you can watch whatever you want?
I don't think people are educated on that yet.
It's going to be really interesting. I mean, at some point, obviously, you know, we love them all, but, you know, our peepaws and meemaws will be, you know, crossing the Rainbow Bridge, and everyone will understand how to use Netflix. I wonder what it's going to be for us, you know, because there's inevitably in 40 years, there's going to be something that we have no clue what the fuck to do. It's going to be something. My nano chip in my brain is malfunctioning. No, peepaw. No, papa. You're supposed to blink twice. You've been blinking 3 times. You blink twice and you open up the FanDuel where you can bet your Social Security check, peepaw. At FanDuel, you blink twice. Oh, I've been blinking 3 times. Sounds just like how my opa and dad fight over working my iPad, TV, or computer. Yeah, I mean, in my grandparents' defense, they have like an older smart TV, and there is on the TV remote an Amazon feature, but this is before Prime Video is even around. And you click it, it takes you to some. I mean, it feels like a time capsule. I guess they had like a Redbox type service or something for a tiny bit.
You didn't used to do all your shopping on your TV?
It's not a shopping thing. It's like a Redbox almost. It doesn't exist anymore, but there's still like the bones of it there. It's kind of interesting looking at. But they kept clicking on that, and they're like, the game's not on here. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. I don't even know what I don't even know what service is on the screen.
Get me out of here.
Oh, man. But anyways, yeah. Frank Ayatollah, man. Yeah. This was a swing and a miss. And the Scalabrini inclusion here is hilarious.
Just like, who's bigger, you or Frank Isola?
It's a good question, honestly. I don't know. It's a good question. If Frank Isola were to drop a YouTube video tonight recapping on his own channel, recapping the NBA playoffs, whose video would get more views? Is this delusional on my end? I don't know anything about Frank Isola at all. I have to be honest with you. It's just, I think, a little past my time. I was never a super big PTI guy. And, I didn't listen to like Sirius XM talk shows.
Okay. Clearly Frank's way out of your league.
Okay.
But we need to know the truth. You or Brian Scalabrini, the Breen?
Scalabrini for sure.
Humble. For
sure. And again, Scal's a close friend of mine. But, so I would never dare say something like that. But definitely Scal. Everyone knows who Scal is. Everyone knows who Scal is. That's hilarious. Oh, Jesus. So what's up with this, man? So is Texas Tech fucked? So Texas Tech's new star transfer quarterback. And here we go with one of these. New star quarterback, Brendan Sorsby. Did they say how much he ended up getting in the transfer portal? I thought I heard someone say $7 million.
I thought I heard $5 million.
Okay. Do they release that? Is that something that they have to release?
I don't think they do because it's NIL money.
Yeah.
But I do think it's also something you can beat your chest about in those big, we got him for $5 million.
True. Dick swinging competitions. I like that. So anyways, Texas Tech quarterback last year, I already forgot the guy's name, was dreadfully bad and was the reason why they got destroyed in their first playoff game. So they go out and get this guy, pay him a bunch of money. I think he was the number 1 transfer portal quarterback. And Tech spending money. It's the only thing they're doing good. I also saw that they're cutting all LGBT classes and you're not allowed to talk about it anymore on campus. So that's good. right? But at least you have the oil money. The oil money's still there. So at least our sports teams will be good, I guess. So anyways, he gets caught gambling. He checks into a gambling rehab center because apparently not only had he been gambling on games, I saw a report that he would go to Cincinnati Red games and just gamble every pitch. These things are insane. Would just bet on every single pitch in the game. But then beyond that, I believe he was at Illinois. I could be wrong. I did my research. Indiana. I did my research on this one. Indiana, and while he was redshirting, would bet on the games. That obviously he wasn't playing in them, but would bet on his team's games. Now, it does sound like this guy's fucked. The thousands of tiny wagers Sorsby placed over the year, a total value of less than 7 figures, but not insignificant, has placed his future as well as Texas Tech 2026 football season in doubt. Think about that, man. Think about that. Look at this guy. This guy's throwing his life away over $3 over bets. He bet $3 on the over to hit. 50 cents for a ball on the next pitch of an MLB game. That is insanity. I didn't even know you could bet 50 cents.
This is what gambling addiction looks like.
This really is. This is just like the dopamine hit. And I don't know, NIL's been around for a little bit, so I'd have to imagine that he's made some money over the last few years, like life-altering, life-changing money. Would you consider $6.5 million generational?
Absolutely.
Really?
I mean, I guess turn it down then.
Well, yeah, maybe I have several times. No, when I think generational, I think my children will never have to worry about money. My grandchildren will never have to worry about money.
What you're able to do with $6.5 million is build that generational. So when you add generational, I'm like, yeah, that's a good starting point in my opinion.
That's true. That's a good point. I'm more saying if you only had 6.5 million, I feel like that's sure you can invest it. That's good. That's good points, everyone. That's good points.
Thank you.
So Sorsby's now at the center of an NCAA investigation that could result in the end of his college football career. I'd have to imagine because he's not good enough to play in the NFL. It was from my understanding, a lot of people are saying that good transfer portal quarterback, but not really that great. That's what I saw some Texas Tech detractors saying all offseason. So anyways, his football playing career is almost certainly over. Seeking a treatment for gambling addiction, as announced Monday by the university, one of the most sought-after players in the 2026 transfer portal, Sorsby's situation gripped the college football world, churning up plenty of questions. So, a couple of things that have come up from this. Was Cincinnati was aware that this stuff was happening and that there was a potential repercussions on its way? I don't know if what could come from that. Could Cincinnati get in trouble? It's not like they traded him. Right, this isn't like a Charlotte Hornets Miami Heat situation where the Hornets traded Terry Rozier and then it comes out very quickly after that Terry Rozier is in the center of this gambling probe, and then it's like, oh, how much did the Charlotte Hornets know, and if they did, do they need to give a pick back? Could Cincy get into serious trouble? And then here's my question with all of this, always with college sports, is who is there, there's not like unless I'm fully unaware. Is there like a commission or a committee or some type of head figure that sorts this stuff out?
So the conferences and the league, they do have a watchdog that watches gambling stuff. And I know firsthand, won't get too far into it, but Cincinnati's been involved in baseball gambling scandals a couple of years ago as well. So Cincinnati's not unknown for it. I think that's just a matter of coincidence, quite honestly. But it's not a great look for them either that they knew about it. But all these conferences and the NCAA have a gambling, I don't know what they're called, but an entity that sort of flags stuff that's going on. And it's all done through phones and data now, so it's not like they're all aware of where the bets are coming from. So you're not really getting away with anything.
But I guess my question is if they determine like, and right here it's saying that there are several sources close that think that the university knew of Sorsby's gambling exploits since at least last fall. Who is there to like hand down some type of punishment? And would there even be punishment?
You're saying from the NCAA level?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question, right? And I think that's where everyone's staring. The same with the NIL stuff. That's who's going to come down with regulations. Who regulates this because the conferences are doing what they want. So, but I think from what I was hearing for the last few hours or seeing is they're talking about banning them, which would be a massive step for the NCAA. And
I'm sure Tech would get that money back that they gave him.
Well, and you wonder, because the way college sports works, and sorry, Tech alum out there, but it's perfect for them to ban the Texas Tech quarterback because Lubbock, not that big of a deal to them. But you wonder if this was Georgia's quarterback, what would be handed down.
Well, yeah, I mean Georgia, it's not gambling there; they're just driving around like fucking Mario Kart in the streets.
So, like, if it was an SEC school, I wonder. But I'm just here to stir the pot a bit.
Here's the thing, and I would say this, and this is obviously coming from a place as a Texas Tech alumnus. So there's, maybe a little slightly biased. Hey. But hey, listen, that's a fan base that I think you'd want to, like, if you were to rig stuff, I think you'd want Tech to start being good. Because I'd always want to target these areas where it's like, there's nothing else happening. There is nothing, There's nothing in Lubbock besides Texas Tech. And I mean this, literally nothing. They call it the hub city, and the reason why they call it that is because for a while, it was the only place of civilization halfway to Dallas, like in between New Mexico and Dallas and, maybe some cities in the Panhandle. There is not shit going on in Lubbock within like literally 5 hours of driving. Nothing. And I mean that with love in my heart because I went there and I've experienced it and I would never in my life go back. I'm just being honest with you.
Okay, hit the visit Lubbock ender there.
Yep. Need a place to go this summer? Lubbock, Texas.
Bryce brings up a good point. You wonder if Arch Manning was in the same thing, what they would do.
That is a great point. Wow, that's actually a great hypothetical. If it comes out that Arch Manning was placing 50 cents on baseball game bets, what happens? I guess the question would be, do we even find out about it? That would be
I think the preemptive strike that he would have already been eligible for the draft would have been the answer to the question.
That's true. We're going to the NFL, and then the NFL's like, yeah, guess what? We don't give a fuck at all.
And then the NCAA retroactive. Oh, he's banned from the NCAA now. Oh,
yeah.
Great. Well,
we're going to take away any of his postseason accolades.
Wow.
The NFL wouldn't care whatsoever. I mean, these guys, if you're good enough, these guys. Now, do we have any instances in the NBA? I'm trying to think of guys getting hit with gambling stuff and returning. Because that has happened in the NFL. Players like Calvin Ridley, didn't he miss an entire year for gambling stuff? Now, his was different, right? Because he just went and gambled on different sports. This was like a few years ago when we were a little bit more, at least tried to be a little bit more like insane about this stuff.
The conspiracy theorist Michael Jordan.
True, Jordan would be an example. But even then, you'd have to look at that. And if those... So here's why I got off of the Michael Jordan gambling thing, because for a while there I was like, yeah, honestly, it kind of seems plausible because Jordan retiring in the middle of his career is insane, right? Like, it's an insane story. It's crazy to think about what that would be like in modern times. Like, imagine there's not really an uber star like that currently, but imagine LeBron in 2015 retiring, like out of nowhere, and then coming back in 2018, and LeBron retiring in 2015. Like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna go play tight end for the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to be like, what the fuck? What just happened?
International cricket star. It's the biggest sport in the world.
Like, huh? So the reason why is like, okay, why would they not have, like, Jordan transcended everything in the 90s. He was like one of the most famous people on the planet, carried the NBA, in a lot of ways saved the NBA a little bit. Why wouldn't they just brush it under the rug? Instead of being like, fake a retirement, go play minor league baseball for a couple of years and then you can come back. Why not just brush it under the rug? Or if you want to say, hey, listen, we have to ban you from this would be it. We have to ban you from the NBA for all this gambling. We have to ban you, but we're not going to publicly tarnish you because that would be such a shit stain for us. So you're just gonna have to retire, and that'll be better for both of us. We won't tarnish our legacies, And then a couple years later, they're like, fuck, we need MJ back. That would be it. And then they went to him and were like, come back, please. That would have to be it. But I don't know what they would do with Arch Manning, man. It's an interesting hypothetical to think about. Again, there's no like. So what? They've discovered he's gambling. Who is like the power figure in college sports that's like, you're banned. We're handing this down to you.
It's the NCAA, but they answer to the SEC. They answer to the Big Ten. The Greg Sankey commissioner holds weight. So if he wants that quarterback to play, or he wants Nick Saban's squad to not, I just want him to miss a first half. That's usually is what resonates.
Well, here we go. NCAA policy. It says it in this article. Number 1, players playing in and influencing their own games are knowingly providing information to influence their games or wagering on their own games or on sports at their own schools. It was written like that. Are permanently banned. So that makes sense, obviously. If you're gambling on your own team and you're throwing the game or whatever the case may be, you're banned. Players wagering on their own sport, this is interesting because it was said when he was redshirting at Illinois, or Indiana or Illinois, whatever high school he was at, Indiana, that he was gambling on their games. Which again, you might think to yourself like, oh, I don't know. My personal belief, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the way things are trending, I don't think we're far from this. I really don't. My personal belief is, I'm actually willing to make a prediction here. In the next 5 years, it'll become a thing where there'll be commercials and it'll be like, my name's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I'm betting on myself to get over 13.5 rebounds tonight. And I'm going for it. I bet that's a thing in 5 years. Guaranteed. Guarantee you. Number 2, players wagering on their own sport, even if at another school, will lose as much as 50% of a season eligibility. Okay, so let's just say Arch Manning, it comes out, gambling degenerate, bets 10 cents on every single pitch at an MLB game. As of right now, for these first 2 policies, nothing. And those betting on pro sports face penalties based on how much money they bet. 10% loss for the season for more than $200 bet. Oh my God, they scale this? Those betting on pro sports, 10% loss for the season more than 200. This is like a theft charge, a shoplifting charge. Under 200, you're okay. We'll give you a ticket. Over 200, you're going to jail. 30% loss for more than $500, potential permanent ban for more than $800. That's interesting, that little last tidbit.
I don't understand how they make all these convoluted rules, and I just don't know how they just didn't land on, if you're an athlete, you can't gamble. If we catch you, ban.
Well, I'm okay. So reading this, it sounds like they can gamble on other college sports. Then
you can. That's the thing, is what they're saying. The permanently banned part is if you gamble on your own team, which supposedly he only did when he was at Indiana when he was a redshirt. Supposedly when he was at Cincinnati, he wasn't betting on Cincinnati games. But I'm like, dude, we're just jumping through hoops just to needle the thread to let these guys gamble.
This is going to get so... This is just going to get so out of hand. You have to realize that some of these dudes, like, you're about to have 18-year-old kids coming up in this next college crop that were born in, 2008? So their whole adult, or not even adult lives, but their whole, lives where they at least have some type of understanding of what's happening in the world have been in the 20... Think about that. They were 12 years old in 2020. That's insane to think about. And I just did math so wrong, didn't I? They were, 12 years old in 2020.
Right? You're doing good, buddy.
I'm doing great. Wow, that was good on me. 12 years old in 2020. Their whole lives have been social media. Their whole lives have been degenerate Kevin Hart gambling ads. This is going to be such a shit show. Such a shit show. It's going to get so much worse than this, guaranteed. I don't know what direction they go, whether it's going to be one or the other. They're either going to go full-fledged, you cannot gambling is done. We're done with it. We can't in good faith enforce all of these rules while also just constantly promoting it. So we're getting out of gambling. Guess what? That's not happening. That is not happening. I think we might just be reaching a point where it's you know what? Fuck it. Hey, if we catch you fixing games and intentionally losing games, you're banned. Outside of that, though, we don't care. If you bet on yourself to get over 12.5 rebounds, then so be it. If you bet on yourself, you bet on your team to win, whatever. We don't care. We can't go through this.
They're just going to, I mean, it's all leading to one thing. They're just going to, every sport and league is going to have a massive problem when it affects a conference finals run or a finals run or whatever. I mean.
And that's assuming it hasn't happened already.
Right, yeah. You have to have at least the guise of ignorance, and now we're starting to lose that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know my stance on this, dude. This is just all a complete and total shit show. I don't mind sports gambling being a legal thing. I just think it should be like cigarettes. I've always said this. It should be like cigarettes. There's huge regulations on advertising it, huge restrictions on advertising it. And it's just something that's looked at like, yeah, you can do it, but there's stigma surrounding it and stuff like that. Like the fact that it's just this, I don't know. You watch the games, it really is insane how much it's advertised now. And the crazy thing is like think about going back in time and explaining Kalshi or Polymarket to somebody. It would literally sound like it was out of a movie, like out of some satirical, dystopian. Like cyberpunk.
Yeah, what was this in The Fifth Element or something? What's going on?
Like it would literally be like this out of cyberpunk, like a joke in a cyberpunk game where the politicians are all doing Polymarket ads in gambling. That's real life. That's happening now. And everyone's just like, yeah, well, the world is so crazy when you think about it, all the shit that's happening. Dude, I found myself on Saturday night, there's a fucking shooting at the whatever that was, the press gala. Somebody trying to assassinate the president again, and they're doing the news broadcast, and I'm like, dude, can you put the Timberwolves game back on, please? Like it's a crazy moment. Don't get me wrong, but we've had 4 of these. Think about that. This like 10 years ago would have been a story for like a year. This would have been the biggest news story for months on end. And it's Tuesday, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Are the Nuggets going to come back down 3-1? I don't know, because I didn't watch all of game 3 because they fucking wouldn't stop showing the press conference. But, yeah. I don't know, man. Can you go to the Kalshi? What's the odds on Kalshi on that guy?
Yeah, I can't wait to have the conversation with my wife at some point. Honey, we lost the house because I lost my ass I bet on Iran to come back in this war or some crap like that.
Yeah, sorry, honey. I bet on the shooter being right wing. Turns out on his timeline, he's actually kind of liberal leaning. So we lost $50,000.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pack our bags.
But isn't that crazy though? That happens, and immediately no one even believes it. Is that not an insane? It's crazy to think about. That's where we are. Something that happened, nobody even thinks it's real. Immediately, everyone's like, yeah, that's staged, that's fake. There's obviously always like conspiracy stuff with this, but immediately everyone's like, yeah, who's believing this? Anyone? Crazy times we live in, man. Sorsby, why'd you have to break my heart? So what? Is Tech fucked now?
What are you going to do with your Sorsby jersey?
I guess maybe they're going to do one of those exchange things. You've seen those?
Yeah. You become an Aggie? You're going to trade for an Aggie jersey or what?
Or maybe Tech in good faith could do it. Maybe we exchange it. Maybe they give you like a FanDuel credit. $50 FanDuel credit if you turn in a Sorsby jersey.
Maybe you can get a Bob Knight basketball jersey for no reason at all.
Oh, that would be sick. I'd be here for that. What's this? Rusidi's playlist. I mean, this whole story, I'm going to be real. I haven't followed this story much. I try to stay out of the inner workings of people's relationships and, like I have no opinions on Klay Thompson, Meg Thee Stallion. This whole thing, though, is a story that keeps on giving, though, is it not? The craziest thing from all of this, and again, I don't even want to speculate on these people's lives, really. Her son being born in 2021 and being named Mike is insane. That is nuts. That is next level. Because they were together during this time, reportedly, potentially, maybe, spotted around this time. Even if, hey, that's not Mike Vrabel's kid. Think about the concept of naming your child after the man you're having an affair with?
As I asked on House of Haymaker earlier this morning, can someone point to me any evidence that makes anything less incriminating?
Yeah. The playlist or the child's name?
I don't know. List something that I'm like, okay, well, Diana has a point there, or what? I don't know.
To be fair, at this point, they're just like Vrabel's ad went to and I love the wealthy like celebrity thing, guys. I went to counseling on Sunday for one day. I'm a new man.
Yeah, couldn't miss the first round, but I'll miss the third round. Yeah,
missed the third round. Went to counseling on Sunday at a ranch in Wyoming. It was a great time. The kids were on their phone the entire time. Me and my wife, my wife, we hashed it out, and I'm a better man now. Nothing will ever beat that time the Reds announcer used a slur on the national TV and got fired in the middle of the broadcast, and then went on to apologize 5 minutes after saying that's not the man I am. It's like, yeah, it is, dude. You just said it 5 minutes ago. Like, you could just say, hey, I need to do better, and I'm going to try to do better. It's like, but you just said it 5 minutes ago, so you can't say that's not the man you are. 4 years ago, that's a completely different story. Hey, that was 5 years ago. I've completely changed my perspective. I've done research. I've talked. I'm sorry for ever saying that.
I may never put on this mic again.
I never put on this mic again. I think he is working, actually.
Yeah, he's back doing CW games. Brenneman, right?
Something like that, yeah. But I just love that. That's not the man I am. It's like, dude, that was 5 minutes ago. Yes, it is. Like, yes, it is. But anyways, the dude, yeah, the mic. I'm going to be honest with you, but naming your child after the man you're having an affair with is kind of beast mode. I'm just going to be real. I've never support something like that ever. Right? Horrible stuff. Feel horrible for everybody involved, the family.
Allegedly, of
course, right? Allegedly having an affair with the family. I feel bad for everybody involved. It's a little beast mode though to do that. Like, that's really just going all in. In a weird way, you kind of have to like somewhat respect the like fuck it. Oh man.
So you aware of this playlist thing?
Turning the page. Diana Rossini made a playlist and shared it with somebody named Mike. I mean, not doing a great job, are they?
This was during a time in 2022 when the Titans, who Mike Vrabel was the head coach of, were on a 4-game losing streak.
So actually, I'm gonna be real. This one to me, I don't know. I could write this one off. If there wasn't other damning evidence, this one I could just be like, meh.
It's not as fun for sure.
Hey, maybe a reporter and a coach becoming friends, that's not like too crazy. Maybe is it a little unprofessional? That's a different conversation for the big J journalists to tell you whether or not that's something that's professional or not. To have like a friendly relationship. Some people say you shouldn't, right? But I think in today's world, you kind of have to. The tweet she posted after her son's birth saying she's wondering who the greatest coach player named Mike is. So how would you rate the officiating of the first round on a scale of 1 to 10? I mean, 8. I haven't noticed any problems. I don't watch it through the lens of, there's some people I notice every game there's like 3 calls that just go viral, and it's like, well, even if these 3 calls you think are bad, there's like 200 possessions in a basketball game, more than that. I'm like, okay, all right, that's fine. Dan was also very light on Dan Snyder during his peak dirtbag days. I mean, what's going to happen with her? There is like an interesting power dynamic, and because Vrabel's got to go back to working. Obviously, Diana Rossini's probably not going to be an NFL reporter ever again. Would be my guess. I don't hope that's the case. I mean, I don't know. It sucks for like her family and everything, but I never followed her. I'm not plugged in the NFL. I'm assuming she's pretty good at her job. She worked for The Athletic. Was their like main NFL person, right? So.
Yeah, Vrabel's going to get to skate, and that's not fair. But
it's not, but it is like. Listen, the NFL, the sports are the closest thing to a meritocracy there is in the world. If you're good at your job, there's so much money to be made in this industry. Winning is the only thing that really matters. If you're good, they're gonna figure out a way to brush anything that you do under the rug. That's just the reality. As a reporter, I don't want to say you're replaceable because that sounds mean, but like they can replace you. And this is just like a scandal that you're going to lose your job as a reporter. I mean, that just goes without being said. And I'd have to imagine that'd be true if the roles were reversed and this was like a woman head coach and a man reporter. I would assume that the man would be fired for sure. Crazy stuff, though.
I'd love to know from your massive female audience watching right now what it means when a lady does share playlist. Is that just a friendly thing?
So again, if this was the only evidence, I'd be like, come on, you can't draw any conclusions from this, because it'd be one thing if it was just like, if it was a sex playlist or something, and it was like, all right, this is bizarre.
Well, read the songs off.
I mean, yeah, but they've got "Welcome to the Jungle's" on here.
I do. I'm joking around. I do think this is innocent, but it's funny.
"Welcome to the Jungle," "Last Resort" by Papa Roach. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe they were into some freaky ass shit. It's possible. But I mean, some of these is just like, yeah.
What's song number one?
Song number one's "Cuff It" by Beyonce. That's not like a.
Well, why don't you read the lyrics?
"Big Energy" by Lotto. Yeah, but these were like pump up songs at the time, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
they're only fun as jokes.
I mean, it's considering everything else we know. It's like, oh yeah, of course. If the Pats are bad, Mike Vrabel probably would have been fired too. Yeah. And that goes back to what I was saying about, it being a meritocracy. Like, if that was like a way to get out of a bad coach's contract, they would do that 100%. 100%. Same thing with like players. If you're really good and you do some fucked up stuff, illegal activities, if you're really good, they'll suspend you. They'll, fine you, whatever the case is. But you're going to continue to have a job. Look around the NBA, Miles Bridges, Jackson Hayes. If you're bad and you do some bad stuff, that's it. There's not worth having you around anymore. Or replaceable. How about that? If you're replaceable, somebody that's easily replaced. Hey, Siley, you should listen to this banger called "Oh McDonald Had a Farm." Is that a new one? There's a lot of people getting cooked on Twitter for saying, no, this actually is a red line as a journalist and the uneven treatment is warranted. It's difficult because it's like both parties are in the wrong here, unquestionably. But yeah, I mean, as a journalist, and listen, I went to journalism school. Like, I think some of this, especially when it comes to sports journalism, and I don't mean to like offend anybody potentially, especially when it comes to sports journalism, I think a lot of this capital J, like, you have to follow this. You have to do this. It's like, dude, we're doing sports reporting, right? Like, we're not reporting on global conflicts here. Where like the news is genuinely very important that we get this out. We're doing sports reporting. It's kind of silly and goofy. And it's how it's supposed to be. It's fun, right? But I mean, having an affair with the other team's head coach, yeah, you're going to get fired. Like, that's just it. You're going to get fired. I can't imagine any reporter keeping their job from this.
I mean, the two jobs are different. So for her, does it affect her ability to report if that's going on? Most objective journalistic people would say yes, right?
Yes.
For him, his job is to coach an NFL team. What he did with her, does that affect his ability to coach that NFL team? Probably not. Bad PR, though, but which is why he's going to get to keep his job.
And another, to sort of expand on your point, like, if you are an outlet, a news outlet, how does that reflect upon the outlet? If you're The Athletic, and it's like, one of our reporters had an affair with the coach, we're going to keep her on board, though. Her or him on board. That immediately people are going to be like, well, how can I trust really anything you guys say if you guys have this? Whereas, again, an NFL team, it's just like, whatever, dude. Like, at the end of the day, like, you need to teach this tight end how to run a fucking drag route. Like, that's just kind of it. Now, the question is if it, like, bleeds into the locker room and players, and I doubt the players care. If it bleeds into the locker room and it's like, hey, we're supposed to build this foundation of family and trust, and how could we possibly follow that if you...
I would argue, I'm laughing because I would argue they all do that. I'm not laughing at that. I mean, that's clearly some serious stuff that you're dealing with there.
So in this instance, and this is interesting here, and is this how this works? I have gotten so fat that my tattoo has actually gone from my forearm to my hand. Does that happen if your body stretches this much?
Dude, it's even giving you nipple definition.
Yeah, that's kind of rad.
This is scary.
There's like a grease stain or something as well on the jerseys.
It's even got your skin tone. Man, is that
AI slop? No, man. This was a week ago. I've been swimming. Swimming at the gym is really kind of.
And even neck bearded you. Why are you asleep broadcasting at the Haymaker Studios?
Let's be real. Would I be sitting on this desk if I looked like this?
Oh yeah, dude. We just have to move the desk.
My honest guess is no. I know, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but that's just the reality. You know, it's the reality.
Your personality's big enough, dude. You can look however you want.
Anyways, man. Hey, listen, we don't have any journalistic integrity here. Dan Rossini, you are welcome on the show anytime you want to talk NFL. We're open. We have no integrity here. None at all. By the way, we went viral. The House of Haymaker went viral.
I was going to say, don't bring up Nick Harris right after this.
Nick Harris does have integrity. Today and on this day 23 years ago, the Orlando Magic took a 3-1 series lead on the number 1 Detroit Pistons. How many 3-1 series lead has blown 3-1 series leads has Doc been a part of? 3 or is it 4? Damn. 4? It's only happened, what, like 8 times, right? Jesus. Doc. Well, anyways, man. I want to, again, fullydelusional.shop, link down in the description. In this house, we stand for the flag. Yes, we do. It's the only flag that we stand for, damn it. Let's stand for the flag and kneel for the crossover. Look at that. It's great. It really is. It's fantastic. Shout out to some. I want to read these. So on these shows, Super Chats and members, I will catch up at the end of the program. Dagger Dave, 5 months, nice jersey. Thank you. And you were the one who sent the lovely message in the Discord, so I appreciate that. Free of all fear with the 199, you lap Frank. That's nice. I actually think so. I honestly, like, I don't maybe have the, like, if Frank went to, I don't know, like a bigger media outlet was like, I want to do a show with you guys, he'd have more leverage there, I would say. He'd have more leverage. Yes, this is a live show. He'd have more leverage. If we were just doing a random YouTube video on last night's game, I think I'd actually perform better. What does that mean? Anything? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Who's to say? Anyways, thank you guys for coming out today. It was a great show. Again, if you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure you do so. And if you're listening after the fact and you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure you do so. If you're listening on all audio platforms, make sure you leave a 5-star review. And catch you guys on Thursday, House of Haymaker, every single day of the week here. I'll be on Friday, I think. So, weekday at noon, House of Haymaker. It's a great show. It really is. It's been fantastic so far. You guys are doing a great job, Matt. JD.
How hungover are you coming on Friday?
You know, the thing is I wasn't that hungover on Friday. I just woken up 30 minutes ago whenever I got there. That was more so the problem. But there was a hangover. There was. Hopefully on Friday, 0% hungover. That would be ideal. I can't imagine. If I'm drinking on Thursday, that'd be a little bit weird.
I believe we have Skin, you, Nick Harris, and KT, so I'm sure a bunch of serious stuff will be going on.
Oh, that is a fun group right there. That is a fun group. All right, thank you guys. Yes, I will be streaming the games tonight, so make sure you guys come join and hang out. Love you all. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.
Who's it going to be? My brain's going to explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.
Security at the Haymaker Network is provided by Smith Thompson. Secure your home now at smiththompson.com.